Now, as we're reporting today, the flag of American forces in Iraq has now been lowered in Baghdad, and that formally brings nearly 9 years of US military operations in that country to an end. During the ceremony, the US Defence Secretary Leon Panetta paid tribute to Iraq's leaders.
To the distinguished members of the Iraqi government and the Iraqi military, thank you for your courage, for your leadership, for your friendship over these many number of years. More importantly, thank you for your loyalty to the future of Iraq. Your dream of an independent and sovereign Iraq is now a reality.
Leon Panetta there. For more, our North America correspondent Craig McMurtry joins us now from Washington. Craig, that flag lowering ceremony does not mean, of course, that all the troops are gone, but it's still highly significant, isn't it?
Look, it is, Virginia. It's a symbolic moment. It was significant for a number of reasons. They lowered the flag over the US headquarters at Baghdad airport. There was no sense of celebration. There was no declaration of victory. The exact timing of this ceremony was kept secret because there were concerns about security, the possibility of attack. The Washington Post is reporting that there were some seats at the ceremony kept aside for senior members of the Iraqi government, including Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki. They did not appear for the ceremony. And I think the whole tone of this really does point to the uncertainty now over what happens and the concern that things are very fragile in Iraq as America withdraws. Leon Panetta, the Defence Secretary, said, quote, "No words, no ceremony can provide full tribute to the sacrifices which have brought this day to pass." And really there is this sense of uneasiness now. As America withdraws, given the toll that this war has taken, 8 years, 8 months, 25 days, 1 million Americans served, tens of thousands wounded, nearly 4,500 dead, and of course, and we only have estimates to work on, over 100,000 Iraqis killed in this period. And the question that everybody is wondering is, was it worth it? And really that does depend on what happens in the weeks and months ahead.
Yes, and that's going to be the very close analysis now. Was it worth it, and just what was the price that was paid? Moving on to other stories, though, that I know that are happening in the US at the moment. The US government's on the brink of yet another shutdown, Craig?
Yeah, we're finishing the year here pretty much as we began. For I think the third time this year, there is the real prospect of a federal government shutdown, with Republicans and Democrats in both chambers of Congress haggling over extending a payroll tax break. Now, Barack Obama and the White House have really made a point of highlighting this issue, saying that if they fail to extend this payroll tax break, 160 million Americans could see a tax increase next year of $1,000. The reason this is important is because the White House in particular and the Democrats have been arguing that to increase or to extend this payroll tax break, Congress ought to be asking millionaires and billionaires to pay more by levying a surtax on them. Republicans have steadfastly refused to do that, and so an omnibus spending bill of some $1 trillion has been caught up in all of this because the White House is saying that they can't deal with extending this $1 trillion spending bill to keep the federal government operating until the payroll tax break extension is dealt with. Now, interestingly, after really talking this up in the brinkmanship of yesterday and the prospect looming of a partial federal government shutdown as of midnight tomorrow, the senior leaders in Congress seem to be walking it back a bit today, saying, oh, well, they can still get a deal done. They'll extend for a few days if necessary, because I think they realise that for both sides, this is a pretty incendiary way to finish the year leading into the 2012 presidential campaign next year. And Barack Obama is saying Congress can't go on vacation till this is dealt with. In return, they're saying He shouldn't be going on vacation or holiday until it's dealt with. He is, of course, scheduled to get on a plane and go to Hawaii this weekend for his Christmas break. So here we are again, another argument, another prospect of federal government shutdown. The rancor continues, and interestingly, a Wall Street Journal NBC poll that came out a few days back said, or at least the respondents of that, 42% said this was, in their minds anyway, one of the worst Congresses in history.
Oh, OK, so they're not liking how they're playing it. Good to talk to you today, Craig McMurtry. Thanks so much.